Let's take 5 minutes with God as we continue thinking about what God is like. We've reached Psalm 145, verse 14 this time, and it says there, "The Lord upholds all who fall, and he raises up all who are bowed down." Combined with the expression we had last time, "The Lord is good to all," and we can see there the verses that follow, they describe a lot of his works of power, his kingdom, his glory, his everlasting might. Now, when we think about how he upholds all who fall, we see a very tender scene. And so as we combine his acts of power and his goodness, and then his acts of mercy and tenderness by upholding all who fall, this is really something to appreciate. It gives us the idea that the Lord sustains us, he supports us, he's reaching out for us, and he is there when we fall. But we might ask, well, why is it that we fall? And the scriptures give us some examples of this. The prophet Elijah, he felt very alone, and it caused him to fall. He fell into a time of great despair, and the Lord was able to reach to him. He came out of that time of despair with the help of the Lord after a period of days. There are warnings about falling because of temptation. We can see that the temptations of money can cause us to fall into snares, 1 Timothy 6. The temptations of our passions can cause us to fall into really distressing sins. King David, 2 Samuel 11, he also was alone, by the way. He fell into the sins of passion when he was alone. It's really dangerous, actually, to allow ourselves extended times of being alone. And David's great shame of sin caused a lot of distress and times that needed adjustment by the Lord. But the Lord did not abandon him. The Lord upheld him when he fell. We could see that we have to be warned about falling because of pride. There's that famous proverb, pride goes before destruction. A haughty spirit goes before a fall. Proverbs 16, verse 18. Pride lifts us up. It sets us up to fall because we rely on our own confidence and we do not remember to rely on the Lord. We also can see in Romans 14 that we are warned not to cause others to fall, to put a stumbling block in our brother's way. And sometimes we are the one who has been caused to stumble, even by a fellow believer, a fellow follower of the Lord, who might cause us to stumble. Very discouraging and distressing. But the Lord upholds those who fall. 2 Peter 3 talks about some who might fall even after a long period of steadfast faith. Through the error of the wicked, even someone such as that might fall. But the Lord upholds all who fall. I'm just turning to Psalm 37 to consider a picture there of how this might happen. It says there in verse 23 and 24, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholds him with his hand." And we could just picture someone who is walking with the Lord takes delight in his faithful progress, and yet someone like that could fall. But it's not the end. He is not utterly cast down. The Lord upholds him. We have that picture in sports very often of someone falling and a teammate rushes over to help, and we can imagine ourselves taking the Lord's arm, reaching for him because he's reaching for us to help us up. There's a little warning that we should not rejoice when others fall. Proverbs 24 tells us this. And it's a good reminder that if we're going to have the character of the Lord, we don't rejoice even when our enemies fall. We don't feel a sense of gladness in our heart, privately even, at someone else's distress and difficulty, even if it's someone who we might consider or who might consider himself an enemy of us. We don't take joy in that. The Lord is the one who shows pity, and he helps those who fall. And greater than all of this is that he is even able to keep us from falling and stumbling. Jude, verse 24 in that one chapter letter of Jude shows us that he is able to keep us from falling. It means he's right there. He's able to make us stand, it says in Romans 14. He's right there. We can reach out for him if we're feeling that we're tripped up, and he steadies us, and he walks right alongside us because he upholds all who fall.